Welcome to Brainwaves and Breakthroughs.
Okay, so get ready because we're about to dive into something I think we all experience pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Music. You sent over
Sure.
some seriously fascinating articles about
Yeah.
the way it affects us. I mean, and we're not just talking about making you feel happy or sad or whatever.
Right.
We're going way deeper than that, like how music actually impacts us, like physically,
Uh-huh.
even socially.
I think one of the things that is so fascinating about this topic is that we're going beyond that kind of simple idea that music just makes you feel good
Yeah.
and really looking at the science behind it. We're looking at personal stories from people who are using music to heal.
Right.
We're even looking at how music interacts with other living things.
Yeah. So it's like music is
It's pretty amazing.
this like hidden language that everybody kind of understands, but only a few people can truly like speak. Right. And so we've got all these insights, from like neurologists talking about how our brains react to music therapists who are out there like literally using music to help patients,
Yeah.
and even some like cool historical context sprinkled in. So where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, I think a great starting point is to understand just how our brains process music. It's really not as simple as you might think.
Okay, let's unpack that. So what is actually happening inside our heads when like a song comes on?
Well, different parts of your brain are responsible for different elements of music.
Yeah.
So like melody and pitch, those are processed by your auditory cortex,
Hmm.
which isn't too surprising, I guess.
Right.
But then you have things like rhythm and tempo,
Mm-hmm.
and those are actually handled by your cerebellum and your basal ganglia.
Mm-hmm.
These are areas that also help to control things like movement and timing.
So it's like our brain is like conducting this whole orchestra every time we listen to music.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
No wonder it can feel so mentally stimulating.
Exactly. It's not just a passive activity.
Right.
Your brain is really working hard when you're listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And this might explain why music is so emotionally powerful, too,
Yeah.
because it's engaging so many different parts of your brain.
And speaking of emotions, one of the articles mentioned how music triggers the release of dopamine,
Yes.
which is often called like the feel-good chemical.
Right.
But then it also lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Right.
I mean, that seems kind of counterintuitive. Like, how can it do both?
It might seem that way, but think about it this way. This actually explains why music can shift our moods so quickly.
Uh-huh.
It's like a chemical cocktail for our brains. And all of this emotional power is being harnessed in some really incredible ways through music therapy.
Oh, yeah. Those articles in music therapy were fascinating. What really stood out to you?
Well, the sheer range of ways that music therapy is being used is just amazing. I mean, it's being used to help people with depression,
Mm-hmm.
trauma,
Yeah.
even autism. It can calm anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
help people process emotions, and it can even provide a way to communicate for people who struggle with words.
It's like giving them a voice.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
That reminds me of one of the things that I was reading in one of the articles talked about how like different genres of music can actually have different effects on us.
Right.
I kind of tend to think of, classical music as being relaxing. Rock or pop is more like energizing.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it goes deeper than just personal preference, right?
Absolutely. It's not just a matter of, liking one song over another.
Yeah.
The actual structure of the music.
Uh-huh.
Like things like the tempo, the harmony.
Right.
This can physically affect your brain and body.
Mm.
There's real science behind why certain music makes you feel certain ways.
So it's like the sonic recipe for our emotions.
Yeah, that's the great way to put it.
I mean, this is already blowing my mind. But you know what really surprised me was like the fact that plants might actually be affected by music too. Apparently, some studies are showing that plants that are exposed to music can grow faster and be healthier overall.
It is an interesting idea, isn't it? I mean, it makes you wonder just how deep this connection between living things and music really goes.
Right.
We tend to think of it as like a human thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we're actually tapping into something much more fundamental about life itself?
Wow.
Something that resonates like on a cellular level.
Whoa, now that is a deep dive. And it's not just plants either, right? I was reading that animals often calm down when they hear classical music. Sorry to all the heavy metal fans out there,
Right.
but your pets might not appreciate it quite as much.
That's a great point. And I think it really circles back to the physiological effects of music that we were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
If it can impact plant growth and animal behavior, it really emphasizes that music isn't just working on a psychological level for us humans.
Exactly. Okay, so we've seen how music affects our brains, our emotions,
Hmm.
even other living things. But why? Like, why do we love it so much?
Great.
One of the articles had a few theories about that, but I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Well, one theory is that music provides a challenge for our brains.
Hmm.
Music is complex,
Hmm.
and our minds naturally like to solve puzzles.
Hmm.
So there's a real satisfaction in figuring out the patterns and structure of a song.
So it's like our brains are saying, give me a musical mystery. I want to crack the code.
Exactly. But it's more than just intellectual stimulation.
Yeah.
Music also allows us to safely experience this wide range of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like a cathartic release, whether we're listening to something that matches our current mood
Right.
or even something that helps us process difficult feelings.
I know. I've definitely cried to my fair share of sad songs.
Me too.
It's like the music gives you permission to like really feel those emotions.
Absolutely.
Without judgment.
And then there's also the social aspect of music.
Yeah.
Think about like singing in a choir or dancing at a concert.
Yep.
Music has this incredible ability to bring people together
Yes.
and create these shared experiences that bond us.
I mean, and the articles pointed out that it goes even deeper than that. Like, the music that we listen to can actually signal things about our personality and values to other people.
Oh, absolutely.
It influences how we're perceived.
It does.
It's like our own sonic signature.
It's like a musical badge
Yeah.
that tells the world something about who you are and who you want to be seen as.
I love that.
And it can even boost empathy by helping us connect with the emotions being expressed in the music itself.
Mm-hmm.
We're tapping into the heart of the composer and the performer.
Right.
And that can expand our own capacity for understanding and feeling.
So music is this like multi-layered experience
That really is.
that hits us on so many levels.
Yeah.
Intellectually, emotionally, socially, even physically.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. But I have to ask about those amazing stories in the articles, like the one about Oliver Sacks, the famous neurologist.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote about how music could almost like awaken patients with severe neurological disorders.
His work is truly remarkable.
Yeah.
You know, he documented these incredible cases where music allowed patients to communicate and connect in ways that they just couldn't otherwise.
Wow.
It really highlights just how uniquely music is processed in the brain. It can sometimes bypass these damaged areas and tap into something much deeper.
And then there was that lost chords story about the stroke patient who lost the ability to speak but could still sing.
Oh, yeah, what a powerful story.
Right. It's like music unlocked this part of his brain that was still intact.
It really speaks volumes about the power of music therapy.
Yeah.
You know, there are even accounts of music therapy being used in war zones to help soldiers struggling with PTSD.
Right.
It's this incredible outlet for emotional expression and healing.
Especially in situations where words just aren't enough.
Exactly.
That reminds me of that article that featured the anecdotes from that music therapist who worked in the ICU.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about how music visibly calmed patients, eased their anxiety, and even helped one stroke patient to like find their voice through song.
I love those firsthand accounts.
Yeah.
Because they really demonstrate the real-world impact of music therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just anecdotal evidence anymore.
Right.
You know, there's a growing body of scientific research that backs up these observations.
So what are the scientists finding?
Studies are showing that music can reduce pain and anxiety after surgery. And it might even lessen the need for pain medication.
Hold on, really?
It's true.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It makes you wonder why music therapy isn't more widely available in every hospital.
You're not alone in thinking that.
Yeah.
It's definitely gaining traction,
Mm-hmm.
but there's still a lot of work to do in terms of awareness
Right.
and making it more accessible.
Mm.
But the research is compelling. One study actually found that patients who got to choose their own music experienced even greater benefits. Yeah. So it really highlights how important personal preference is
Makes sense.
and how powerful that connection we have with certain songs can be.
Well, yeah, music is so personal, right?
It is.
It brings up all these memories and emotions,
Yeah.
even physical sensations that are like unique to each person. It's like your own internal soundtrack.
I love that. It is.
Yeah.
And that personal connection is really at the heart of music therapy.
Mhm.
It's not about just playing any random song. It's about finding the music that resonates with each individual patient
Right.
and using it intentionally to help them achieve specific therapeutic goals.
Like a personalized musical prescription.
That's a great way to put it. And the applications go way beyond pain management and anxiety.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Music therapy is being used to help stroke patients regain their speech and motor skills
Wow.
and to help people with Parkinson's disease improve their movement and coordination.
It sounds like the possibilities are almost limitless. It's just incredible to see how music is being used to heal and empower people in so many different ways.
And remember, all of these incredible benefits aren't just limited to clinical settings.
Right.
Music can be such a powerful tool for self-care and well-being in our everyday lives.
So you mean like beyond just listening to your favorite playlist when you're feeling down?
Exactly. But it's also about being more mindful of the soundscape around us.
Uh-huh.
One of the articles that you sent challenged us to think about paying closer attention to the music we encounter naturally,
Okay.
not just the kind we choose to listen to.
Right.
The sounds of nature,
Hmm.
the rhythms of our own bodies.
Yeah.
There's music embedded in our daily existence if we just tune in.
I love that. Expanding our definition of music beyond just songs and instruments.
Right.
And recognizing that musicality of the world around us.
Precisely. And who knows, maybe you'll find those unexpected moments of peace and connection in those everyday melodies. It's all about opening ourselves up to the possibilities.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how something like sound, something so simple
Right.
can have such a huge impact on our well-being,
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if, we've even begun to tap into the real power of music.
It really does. You've definitely got me thinking about that. Like, music is this secret weapon that we all have, but we're not really using it to its fullest.
Yeah.
But before we get too far down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
I'm still curious about that connection between music and something like bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Several of the articles mention this idea of like a spiritual connection to music.
Right.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, that's a really fascinating aspect to think about. You're right. For centuries, music has played a really central role in spiritual practices and ceremonies across so many cultures. It's often used to create this sense of community,
Yeah.
this feeling of transcendence
Right.
and connection to something beyond just like the everyday world.
And it can be such a deeply personal experience, too.
Absolutely.
When you get lost in a song and feel that sense of awe or wonder or even a sense of the divine.
Exactly. It's almost as if music can transport us to another realm,
Yeah.
a place where we feel connected to something much larger than ourselves. Whether that's a higher power of the universe or even just the collective human experience,
Right.
music has this power to evoke those feelings.
It's almost like it's a universal language
Yes.
that transcends cultural boundaries
Yeah.
and speaks to something deep inside, our souls.
That is a beautiful way to put it. And it actually brings us to another really important aspect of music.
What's that?
Its ability to foster empathy and understanding between people.
Okay, so how does music do that?
Well, think about it. When we listen to music, we're not just hearing sounds, we're actually tapping into the emotions of the composer,
Right.
the performer. We're feeling their joy, their sorrow, their anger, their love.
Uh-huh.
Every single note carries this piece of their emotional world.
Wow.
And through that shared experience,
Yeah.
we gain this deeper understanding of human emotion and all its complexity.
So it's like music creates this bridge between people,
It does.
even across these huge differences in time and space.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We can connect with someone who lived centuries ago
Right.
through the music that they created, and we can feel a sense of kinship with people from completely different cultures through the music we share.
It's like magic. It breaks down barriers.
It does.
And it unites us through this shared language
Yeah.
of emotion and expression.
That's the magic of music.
I love that. This deep dive has been such an incredible journey so far.
It has.
We've explored the science, the emotional impact, the healing power, even the spiritual depths of music. But
Yeah.
let's not forget about the ways music is being used in healthcare.
Yes.
Specifically, we touched on music therapy a little bit earlier, but I
Oh.
think there's so much more to explore there.
Absolutely. One of the articles highlighted how music therapy is being integrated into these various medical settings with some really amazing results.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, one area where it's making a huge difference is in intensive care units.
Oh, yeah.
Those ICUs?
The ICUs, yeah.
Music therapy is being used to help calm patients, reduce anxiety, and even manage pain in these really stressful environments.
Oh, I remember reading about that. One music therapist described how they used music to actually regulate a patient's breathing.
Yeah.
It just shows how Something so simple can have such a powerful effect.
The profound physiological effect.
And it's not just based on those personal stories or observations either.
Right.
More and more studies,
Scientific studies?
yeah, are proving the benefits
Absolutely.
of music in medical settings.
Yeah. And we talked about how music can reduce pain and anxiety after surgery.
Yeah.
But some studies even suggest that it can lessen the need for pain medication.
Wow, that could be revolutionary.
It really could.
Why isn't music therapy like a standard thing in every hospital?
You're definitely not alone in thinking that. You know, it's gaining momentum, but there's still this need for greater awareness and accessibility.
Right.
But the research is definitely there. One study found that patients who got to choose their own music
Oh, really?
experienced even greater benefits.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really highlights the importance of personal preference
Right.
and the deep connection we have
Huh.
with those certain songs.
Well, yeah, music is so personal.
It really is.
It brings up all these memories and emotions.
Yes.
Even physical sensations that are unique to each person.
Yeah, it's like your own internal soundtrack.
Exactly.
And that's why personalization is this key element in music therapy.
Right.
It's not about just playing any random song.
Uh-huh.
It's about finding the music that resonates with that individual patient
Right.
and using it in this really deliberate way to achieve specific therapeutic goals.
So it's like a musical prescription.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And the applications go way beyond pain management and anxiety.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Music therapy is being used to help stroke patients regain their speech and motor skills,
Mm-hmm.
and to help people with Parkinson's disease improve their movement and coordination.
It just seems like there's no limit to what music therapy can do.
It really is incredible.
It's inspiring to see how it's being used to heal and empower people in so many ways.
And remember, it's not just about clinical settings,
Right.
as we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Music can be a powerful tool for self-care and well-being in our everyday lives.
Okay, so beyond putting on my favorite playlist when I'm feeling down,
Yeah.
how else can we incorporate music more mindfully
Right.
into our daily routines?
Well, one of the articles challenged us to think about expanding our definition of music.
Okay.
So it's not just about the music that we choose to listen to,
Uh-huh.
but it's about paying attention to the soundscape around us, the
Mm.
sounds of nature, the rhythm of our own heartbeat.
Right.
There's music embedded in our daily existence,
I love that.
if we just take the time to notice it.
It's so beautiful. It's like recognizing that musicality of the world around us.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe by tuning into those everyday melodies,
Yeah.
we'll discover new sources of peace, connection, and inspiration.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening.
Yeah, it has been.
Music is so much more than just entertainment.
Absolutely.
It's this incredible force with the power to heal, to teach, to connect,
Uh-huh.
to inspire. But I have to ask,
Yeah.
what about the future of music?
Right.
Where do you see all of this going?
Yeah, it feels like we've just scratched the surface, of everything that music's capable of.
I think you're right.
And it's exciting to think about where research and innovation could take us
Oh, absolutely.
in the future.
I mean, we've talked about the emotional and social impacts,
Right.
the ways it's being used in therapy, and even hinted at its spiritual side.
Uh-huh.
But, the scientific understanding of how music affects our brains is still evolving.
Right. And there are researchers out there making groundbreaking discoveries all the time.
Oh, wow. So give me the inside scoop.
Okay.
What are the most exciting things that scientists are learning about music?
One area that's generating a lot of excitement is research on how music can help people with brain injuries and neurological disorders.
Okay, yeah, we touched on this earlier with Oliver Sacks and the Lost Chord story.
Exactly.
It was such a powerful example of how music is really unique to the brain.
It really is.
It works in ways that we're only beginning to understand.
And researchers are building on those early observations and developing cutting-edge music therapy techniques.
Well, wait a minute. It's not just about making people feel better.
No.
Music can actually help to, rewire the brain after an injury.
In a sense, yes. Music therapy can stimulate neuroplasticity,
Okay.
which is your brain's ability to reorganize itself and form new connections.
Wow.
So by engaging with music, patients are essentially giving their brains the tools they need to heal and adapt.
That's incredible. It's like music has this hidden superpower.
It really does.
What other amazing things are scientists finding out?
Well, there's also a lot of research being done on how music affects learning and memory.
Uh-huh.
Studies are showing that music can improve focus, enhance memory recall,
Right.
and even make it easier to learn new languages.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like I always remember things better if there's a song attached to it.
I think a lot of people do.
It's like the music creates this emotional anchor
Exactly.
for the information.
And these findings have huge implications for education,
Right.
for helping people with dementia, and even potentially for treating conditions like Alzheimer's disease.
Wow.
Music could be a key to unlocking those lost memories
Yeah.
and preserving cognitive function as we age.
So we've gone from music as entertainment to music as a tool.
Right.
Music as therapy, and now music as a way to protect our brains.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. This is incredible.
And the most exciting part is we're really just the beginning of this journey.
Yeah. As we continue to explore the complexities of music and the brain, who knows what other discoveries are out there waiting for us.
This whole deep dive has honestly changed the way I think about music.
Me too.
It's not just something I listen to for fun anymore.
Right.
It's this incredible force
Yes.
with the power to heal, to teach, to connect, and to inspire.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Music really is so much more than just sound waves. It's woven into the fabric of what makes us human.
Yeah.
It touches our hearts, our minds, and our very souls.
So to everyone listening out there, I encourage you to go beyond just listening to music.
Yes.
Really experience it.
Absolutely.
Pay attention to how it makes you feel, how it affects your body, and how it connects you to the world around you.
And remember, music is everywhere if you just open your ears and your mind to hear it.
I love that.
From the grand symphony of nature to the quiet rhythm of your own heartbeat,
Yeah.
the world is full of music just waiting to be discovered.
So until next time, keep those ears open and those minds curious.
Yes.
And most importantly, keep the music playing.